Hi guys, my name is Sophie and today I'm going to talk about that thing that makes teachers and parents all across the world quake with fear. Making friends on the internet. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today. Let's start with a brief history lesson of my life. I'm not very good at making friends, and I never have been, really. You know that thing in primary school where people like ask you who your best friend is and everyone's like, oh, I don't have a best friend because I don't like picking favourites. Yeah, that was me, but it wasn't because I didn't like picking favourites, it's because I genuinely didn't know who my best friend was. And this isn't like a sympathy thing, this was just because I think that best friend, like the agreement of being someone's best friend is a two-way thing. So, simultaneously, I have to say, this person is my best friend, and that person has to say I'm their best friend. And I was really not comfortable doing that as an 8-year-old, because I might think they're my best friend, but what if they don't think I'm their best friend? And this caused me some distress in primary school, like a great deal of distress. Because I didn't like the idea of that, so I was like, oh, I don't like picking best friends because all my friends mean a lot to me. Which was like my clever answer for basically saying that I really didn't have a close friends group growing up. And there were many factors into that, which we're not going to get into because they verge on like bullying stuff and the shittiness of being a child, basically. And so it wasn't, I had like 1 or 2 friends, but they always tended to be like actually not as close with me as I thought they were, and it ended badly on several occasions. And it wasn't really until kind of year 8 or 9, and for those of you who don't live in the K, that's like live in the UK, that's like age 12, 13 type. And it wasn't really until then that I kind of got a circle of friends, and kind of I've been friends with that circle kind of since then, and it's expanded and gotten smaller and things, but the main group of people has remained the same. And like, I came across my old diary a couple of months ago that I started when I started my new school in year 10, which is like age 14 upwards. And like the first couple entries have me being super paranoid, where I'm like, we met this new girl today, she seems lovely, but I'm worried that my friends are gonna ditch me and be friends with her, because I find it such a, like, you have to rely on the other person so much with friendship, and that kind of was like, I'd had such a bad experience with like best friends before that I didn't really like that, so I was genuinely terrified that I was going to kind of be slowly pushed out of this circle and this new person was going to be added in. Turns out that didn't happen, and I'm like, I've gotten better because of that experience, because I now have this kind of like fallback of like, I know that people aren't just going to vanish and like fuck off because they didn't, so human beings are good, and all of that. So first lesson from this video is try and make friends, and like that's a really hard thing to do, and I appreciate that because it's super difficult, but like once you have one good experience with a friendship group, it becomes a lot easier, and you kind of know that not all human beings are shit. And most kids have friendship groups very early on, and so they learn that very early on, and then when they have bad experience with people, they're like, that's fine because I know that people aren't shit. And they don't think about this consciously, but that's how that works. That's why it's important to have friendship groups when you're little. For those of us that didn't have that, it's important to have friendship groups, like, in general, because it means that you learn this thing of that people aren't generally shit, there are just some shitty people. And that's very important, which not many people talk about, which is a shame, because everyone's like, oh, friendships are important, and they make it sound like it's just so that you don't sit alone at lunchtime. I have friends now, I still sit alone at break and stuff, but that's because I want to read, and that's not a bad thing. Like, my friends are aware that that's how I work as a human being. So, like, it's not about being unpopular or whatever, it's about making sure that you have this kind of setup where you learn that people aren't shitty all the time. So that's the first thing. Second thing is making friends on the internet. I joined Tumblr several years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago now, and everyone I follow has just been like, oh my god, I've made so many friends on the internet, and it's so much easier making friends on the internet than in real life. And I get that that's true for them, and for me it's the complete opposite. Like, as difficult as I find it to make friends in real life, I find it at least 3 times harder online. And part of that is because I really struggle with kind of reading people, and I can do it in a face-to-face situation, but I find it really fucking difficult when it's like walls of text that they've sent me. So kind of the friends that I have made online, and I want to do that, I want to say friends, not because I don't think they're nice people or that we don't like have a relationship, like a friendship relationship, but because I genuinely don't know if we're friends or not. Like, that's a very big commitment in my mind, and in my head I feel like these are acquaintances that I happen to share a lot in common with, but because they haven't like backed me up with this by saying yeah, we're totally friends, I don't feel I can commit to that, and I'm aware that that's really weird. But so everyone I follow on Tumblr is like, oh, I made all these friends, and I'm just like, how? How did you make friends with these people? How, like, making friends in real life, you see 2 people having a conversation, you hear snippets of the conversation, you think it's interesting, you approach them, you say, hi, I'm blah, you get involved in the conversation. That's how you start a friendship. And it's easy. Like, it's still difficult, but approaching friendship is easier in real life. The difficulty I have in real life with friendships is like maintaining the friendship, because like there's initial friendship, and then there's like BFFs for life kind of friendship, which I really want, and I have now, mainly not through school, but I do have friends like that through school, which is great. But online, like 2 people are having a conversation on Twitter or on Tumblr, or like even on here, like videos, and people are like, oh, comment down, comment in the comment section and we'll get into a conversation, and I'm like, do I comment? Do I not comment? Because they don't know me, so if I comment, am I intruding a little bit? And these 2 people are having a conversation, and it's something I have an opinion on, but like maybe they didn't want people intruding, and that's a much easier thing to gauge if you can see people's faces and you can see how they're talking about it. So if you see 2 people and they're talking, and you go over, and as you go over their faces fall, you can walk away. Like, you can just change direction, and you look like a bit of an idiot, but they don't know who you are. They don't know your name, they don't know anything about you. On the internet, 2 people are having a conversation and you say something, they know who you are. Not like where you live kind of who you are, but like they have a username, and I'm not thinking that they're gonna like harass me or anything, because I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but just that there would be a level of shame involved and kind of embarrassment. So there are people that I've met online, primarily through BookTube, and I talk to them, I send them things on Twitter, or I have a couple of them on Snapchat, and so like if I have a story on Snapchat or they have a story on Snapchat, like I'll watch their story on Snapchat, but like I don't send them snaps of like my day-to-day life, and there are levels of knowing people, and it's very strange and very hard for me to gauge when I've never met them, which is weird, because I feel like it shouldn't be difficult, because everyone does it, and they're like, oh, internet friends are the best thing, and I'm like, how do you make these friends? I really don't understand, because you have to take so much of it and just assume the best and hope for the best, and I find that really difficult. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How? Tell me how. I realised that this video has kind of just been me complaining about my lack of internet friends, and it's not like this isn't in any way that I'm saying, oh, I don't like the people that I know from the internet, or oh, I don't like the people from real life. Like, my friends in real life are well aware of how much I care about them, or I hope they are. And like, the people that I've met through the internet are really nice people, and I'd love to be like friends with them, like real friends with them. But like I said, I find it a really difficult thing, because you don't see their face, you can't hear the way that they say these words. Like, sarcasm. I find sarcasm a really difficult thing to grasp, which is weird considering how often I'm sarcastic. But like, if you're sarcastic on the internet, you have to be really sarcastic, but sarcastic in a really obvious way, because you can't, there's no tone of voice, you don't hear the sarcasm in the tone, you just have to read a sentence and assume it's sarcastic. And like, some people, a lot of sarcastic things are nice things that are said sarcastically to be mean. So if someone says a thing, I could see it as a really nice thing, or they could be being sarcastic, and I find it really difficult to tell which one it is. Like, they could be being really nice, but I'll think it's sarcasm and not talk to them again, because I think I'm being annoying. Or they'll say something sarcastic and I'll think they're being genuine, and that's just so stressful. Like, do other people get this? Is this a thing, or am I just crazy? Because it's very like, it could be either way. But I thought it was an interesting thing, especially considering how much of this kind of like, don't make friends on the internet, don't talk to strangers on the internet thing there is, which is a thing for a different video. But like, I don't know, I don't make friends on the internet, not through lack of trying, but like, it's not because of any of these warnings about don't make friends on the internet, it's just because I find it really difficult. So yeah, so I hope this video was something, possibly just a way for you to laugh at me, which is fine. But like, I don't know. My next video, or not the next one, but the one after, which will be up next weekend, is a celebration of 200 subscribers, and what I'm doing for that is a Q&A, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, or ask me on Twitter, or Tumblr, or my Facebook page, or I don't know, Snapchat if you have me on Snapchat. Like, literally any social media, ask me questions and I will answer them in next weekend's video. And the next video that's going to go up after this is about Harry Potter. Also, side note, do you like the fishtail plait? I learned how to do this yesterday, and like, I always used to think it was a really kind of like, I don't know, like cheesy thing that looked really difficult but was actually really easy. I've now learned how to do it, and if you've ever managed to do a fishtail plait, you are my hero, because this tiny fraction of my hair is the most I could do without it looking shit. So congratulations. Teach me how to do like appearance stuff, because my ability to do my own hair and my own makeup and like dress myself, it's not good, guys. It's like scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of thing. But yeah, I will see you guys next time with another video. So I will see you soon. Please leave questions in the comments. Bye!